All right, guys, Cody here. Uh, Second video talking about diplomatic security service and answering some questions for people that are aspiring DS agents and people just interested in diplomatic security. I'm trying something different, recording on my computer this time. Also learned that there's a thing called IGTV that I did not really familiarize myself with before. So I'm hoping that I can figure out after this video how to put it on IGTV and then also put it on YouTube so you can find it there. Um, uh, Today I'm going to answer a few questions, three or four. I mentioned I'd try to keep things 5 to 10 minutes. Um, yeah, we'll see if that happens. But I had some good reviews on the video yesterday, so I appreciate people messaging me, hitting me up, and let me know what they thought. So I figured with these, I have about 40 or so questions from about 18 different people. So what I'd like to do is kind of set a the pattern I'll take is to uh, is to answer questions kind of from start to finish, as if one were first exploring diplomatic security, researching it, then learning, hey, maybe I'm interested in this, the recruitment aspect, and then the application, the process. Once you get on board, the interviewing uh, uh, portion, and then training, and then first assignments, and so on and so forth. So the questions that are asked uh, that are related to that, I will go kind of in a chronological style order. There are some other questions that are just like lifestyle questions that are just questions about what's your favorite thing about DS or you know other questions that just fit in a really no category or no timeline, and I'll answer those whenever I can, whenever I get to it. Um, so there's a couple questions I have here uh, that are again the beginning stages of the process. I'm going to keep looking down. My notes are next to me today. Um, and the first one is, how is the hiring process and what is the best route to apply? So I'll answer the second one first. The best route to apply, or the only route to apply, is when a vacancy announcement is out. Right. I mentioned last night to go onto the diplomatic security or State Department website and sign up for announcements. That's one of the fastest ways you'll get to know. And I believe they'll hit you up. I still get them. I believe they'll hit you up, or you'll get the email a couple weeks or a week or so in advance. Um, I think historically, and my fellow colleagues can comment on this. I think historically it's been around August, September, October timeframe of each year, and it's not every year, but I feel like recently it has been. Typically, classes are 24 to 48 students. I went through a class of 48. That was a bigger class. Um, but you get that announcement and then you apply. Um, you can find it on USA Jobs as well. You can go there. You can probably sign up for their alerts. I'm not as familiar with that system, but I do know that when you click on it in USA Jobs, it'll just send you to the State Department website to where you apply. Uh, so that's your only route to apply is by going that way. If you want to know more information about DS besides these videos, DS has recruitment events. I imagine they have a schedule. Maybe that's something I can look into. But you can find out where they'll be and go and talk to a recruiter. Um, how is the hiring process? It's I think it's still about 9 months or longer. I don't know of anyone that's made it in less than 9 months. Mine was 9 months. I had previously held a TS clearance with DoD, and it ended up being quicker to get one through state. So state does its own background checks. There is a thing called reciprocity where state could accept DoD. I'm not sure if they're doing that or not. Um, I'm pretty confident DoD, for example, or Department of Energy doesn't accept State Department, but it's two separate things. DoD has OPM doing it, or Defense Counterintelligence and Security Agency, and State Department has it's a State Department that's doing the background investigation. So that's one thing that takes a good while to get through. The rest of the hiring process, so you'll start out, say you get that vacancy announcement, you'll go and you'll apply. And the application or the test, you'll have an online exam. The online exam will have a writing portion and then like a multiple choice portion. Um, and then you submit that. And I feel like some of the people are telling me that they'll let you know on the spot if you got through the threshold and made it to the next level. But again, someone that may know more than me can comment on that for sure. When I went through, they didn't. You just got an email saying your exam was submitted, and then you hoped for an email or a phone call. But now they may be doing that. So that's something we can know. So once that's done, you apply that. Say you do get contacted, um, you'll send some paperwork in, probably a resume on their form, and then a couple other things. Maybe like if you're military, your DD 214 or a couple of other things. And then they will set you up for an interview. Um, and I would recommend if they set you up for an interview that you take it. I mean, it's competitive, and humans manage this, and I'd like to think they're fair. I think they are fair, but you have people that are eager, that are gonna freaking fly places to get these interviews. So I would recommend if you get an interview, do everything in your power, or if you get offered an interview, do everything in your power to get to it and not postpone it. They do interviews, obviously in Washington D.C. or Arlington area, which is where our headquarters is, and then they'll do them at field offices and I think even resident agent offices as well. Um, so you'll do your interview. It's mine took like 6 hours. It wasn't a full interview for 6 hours. It was three different elements. You'll do a writing sample, a test, a um, another interview, and then or another interview. And that's really all I can shed on that. I've been out of it for a while, but that's what I do know. Um, and then hopefully after that, if you get accepted, I got a conditional offer on the spot. It wasn't because I was super high speed or a great candidate. They were just hiring and they were looking to get people moving. So they literally said, "Hey, we want you," and then fill out your paperwork as soon as you get it, and submit it. So that's what I did. I'm not sure if they're doing that now or not. And again, if I get as I start these videos, I may get some intel from some buddies that see this and say, "No, we're doing this, we're doing that." Um, so and if I do, I'll keep everyone posted. Um, anyway, so that's that. If you need more information, let me know if I didn't touch on something. An element to that question was also, are there specific degrees you need? No, you can have a degree in freaking basket weaving. Doesn't matter. You just need a degree, and then you have some experience, hopefully some good experience in whatever sector, and then you'll get it. You're eligible. The other thing I was asked, and I was given this recommendation as well when I was trying to become an agent, but one of the guys asked, well, I was told to apply to all federal agencies, and is that a good strategy? I think this is an opinion question, but yes, I think it's a great strategy. One, again, you get that experience going through an academy, you get some law enforcement experience, so the academy would be that much easier for you. Um, there's a thing called a lateral move, and people make it sound like it's really easy. I don't know if it's that easy, but I do know that if you go through one of the agencies as an 1811, as a special agent, that goes to FLETC, so Secret Service, ICE, like I think National Forest Service, EPA. If you go through FLETC, the Criminal Investigative Training Program, and that's the program you go through with DS. FLETC is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. If you go through one of those and you transfer to DS, well, then you're gonna be able to skip that FLETC portion 9 times out of 10, depending on how long you went, or maybe 10 times out of 10. So that'll minimize your time in training, right? So training for DS to become a basic special agent is, I think you do 3 or so weeks at the Foreign Service, at the State Department, just getting familiar with the Foreign Service, with the State Department. Go to FLETC for a bit, then you go to basic special agent course that's done by DS, and I think that's a total of 7 or 8 months combined. Um, so that's one good reason is the you may be at a lateral over, or at least if you get in, skip a portion of the training because you've already been through it. Uh, just note that if you do something like Border Patrol or CBP, there are benefits to doing that as well, but they will make you go back through the flexi portion because you did a different package. You probably did what's called maybe even UTPT, Uniform Police Training Program, or something like that. Or Border Patrol, I believe, has their own thing. So just keep that in mind that you would have to do it again in that case. Same thing with FBI and DEA. They run their schools out of Quantico. They don't go to FLETC. So I'm quite confident they don't accept if you get with one of those, then they won't accept your training. Um, the second good reason is that your Fed time begins. So if you get in any of those agencies, it's a good idea because you start your Fed time. So thinking towards retirement, you get this you get some time on the books, and say you do 6 years with them, and then you did 4 years military. Well, now you bought your time back. You can buy your military time back. And if somebody wants to know more about that, I can talk about it. Just let me know. But you do 6, and then your 4 years military. Well, now you got 10 years in, and you can retire with federal government service at 20 years. Now, you can retire from a law enforcement capacity after just doing 20 years. I think at the age of 53. Um, but your military time won't count towards that. It has to be federal law enforcement service. And that's another topic for itself. But start your Fed time. You get in with another federal agency. You start your Fed time, and that helps towards retirement. Um, the third good reason is and I had a buddy that did this. He was with ICE. It's called ERO now, Enforcement Removal Operations, and he was with them for several years. Well, he ended up getting stepped out. So what that means is everyone comes in as a DS agent, or used to be at least. My whole class was, and I believe every class that I know of after was an FS6. So State Department is on an FS scale. It's just a foreign service scale. It equates almost exactly over, not exactly, but to the GS scale. And I don't know what FS6 equivalent is, but you come in as that. That said, if you have that Fed time, they'll step you out, meaning you can be an FS6 step 4, which is what I came in as, and several other military folks. Or if you were a federal agent somewhere, they're going to try and match your pay, right? So if you were a GS 11 with ICE and you're making $115,000 a year, then DS is going to hire you on as an FS6, and they're going to step you out. So you won't be a step 4, you might be a step 12, so that you can meet that salary. So now you're making 120 or $115,000 or somewhere around there, like you were with your other agency, and not with the rest of us suckers that are making 60 grand. When I say 60 grand, that's the starting, and then you get what's called LEAP pay, law enforcement availability pay, is 25% of that. And then when you go to an assignment, like you go to Houston, for example, when you get cost of living allowance, and that adds up. So you end up making, I think when you start, depending on where you're at, I feel like it was around 80, 70 something, 80 something grand. But again, if you have that Fed time, then you step out and you'll get more pay. So those are your three main reasons for going with the going federal first if you can do it. Last question I'll touch on. We'll keep this one pretty short. Let's see how much time I'm at. Not short at all. I'm at 15 minutes. Where can I get the coin that I showed? I had a post the other day and I put a coin up. So this is the coin here. It's a United Nations coin from. So the Diplomatic Security Service has an association, the DSSA. I became a member of it as a former agent. Active agents can do it. Maybe family members can do it. I'm not sure. I'm not certain if anyone can join. But check into it. They have a website and everything. So I believe they're on IG as well. So go check them out. And if they are on IG, I'll tag them in this so that they can so you can just follow them or whatever. And the other thing is that somebody's just hooking me up, but they asked when the audiobook is dropping. So Agents Unknown audiobook is, I'm looking to get it out by mid-April. Um, for those of you that are interested, I read it. Again, I think it came out pretty good. Um, and I'm looking to find. I'm trying to determine now if I put it on Audible. Audible has exclusive rights if I do that, so you can only get it on Audible. So for those of you that that listen to audiobooks, I would like feedback from you to let me know, where you think is the best place for me to put, the audiobook. The other option is for me to go through a distributor, which will put it on Audible, Google Play, and then other just about anywhere. And as a whole, there's a lot of factors in there, how it's done and why you do it, right? Because they make royalties. They make more than any author or any person that makes an audiobook. We get about 40%, 30% sometimes. So, and there's a lot of factors that are involved in where. So if you listen to audiobooks and you're interested in listening, I would love your feedback on where you listen to audiobooks and what's best. But anyway, April 15th, not April, mid-April or so is what I'm looking, maybe a little earlier. Anyway, that's it. Did it less time than last night. Hit me up if you got any questions. If you're watching this on YouTube and you don't follow me, I'm on Instagram, agentsunknown_book. I do have a Facebook site. It links to my Instagram if you want to hit me there. And leave your comments if you have comments or questions. I'm certainly willing to continue answering them, and we'll keep this going as long as there's an interest in it. All right, guys. Appreciate your time. Out.